I'm Dino Tripodis, and welcome to a special holiday edition of Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. I say holiday edition because we're going to do something we've never done before on Whiskey Business. We are going to drink and watch and do a running commentary on the holiday classic, It's a Wonderful Life, a two-parter because it's a long movie, so we won't put you through a 2-hour plus podcast, but we will split it up. It's a Wonderful Life is a movie that I did not see until 1982. Strangely enough, in the summer of 1982. I saw it at the Ohio Theater Summer Film Series. It was the first time I'd ever seen it, and too dramatic to say that the movie changed me, but not too dramatic to say that it did not affect me, because it did. I identified with Jimmy Stewart's character of George Bailey. And anybody who's seen the movie, I think, identifies a little bit with George Bailey in some way, shape, or form. Since then, I've watched the movie every year. When I was married at the time in 1982, we watched it. When I got divorced and was living in a little apartment above Clintonville Hardware on Christmas Eve when I was wrapping presents. Oh, I know this is going to sound really mushy, but I would play It's a Wonderful Life, drink, and wrap the presents. And it became kind of an annual holiday thing for me. So, the guest bottle is Old Overholt Straight Rye Whiskey, one of the most maintained whiskeys in America, dating back to the 1840s back in Pennsylvania, now being bottled and distributed by our good friends at Jim Beam and the Centauri Group. Gets a bad rap. It's on the bottom shelf, $16.99, but I'm telling you what, before the whiskey craze became what it is and ryes were not available in plenty like they are today, this is the one that was sitting on the shelf from the get-go. And actually, it's a very serviceable rye whiskey. It does not deserve the bad rap that it gets. Plus, I picked it because if you are familiar with It's a Wonderful Life and Martini's Bar, I feel like this would have been served at Martini's. Good, straight rye whiskey for men who want to get drunk. All right, so that's the guest bottle. And my guest commentator is the one, the only, Johnny Diloretto. A little bit of background. When we had Johnny on the podcast last time, we got into this movie, and he said, I can't watch it anymore. He forgot that he made a promise to me on that podcast that come December, he would watch the movie with me, and that we would do this, what we're going to do today, a running commentary. He forgot. I reminded him, and I told him that he promised. And one thing Johnny Diloretto does not do is break a promise, especially to a friend. So welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks. I was waiting.
Here's your
Jesus,
glass.
is he ever going to give me the glass of whiskey?
Here's your glass.
That was the longest intro.
I know. I took a glass
I'm
of whiskey
like, oh my
ever.
God, he's got it in his hand. I'm watching.
Also, to the right of me, our YouTube producer, John Whitney,
Hey.
director John Whitney,
Yes.
will also be offering some director's commentary on the film from time to time whenever he feels he wants to or needs to.
Yeah, I may be too wrapped up in the movie to say one word. I think.
And, of course, our audio producer, Greg Hansberry, over there
Hey,
as well. So,
and for the record, I've never seen this movie.
Oh my God.
what the
so,
hell?
Yeah, so this
Now, see,
is a different perspective.
This is going to make me nuts, knowing that Greg has never seen this. His first time seeing this. You should leave.
So, spoiler alert.
I mean, I just hate that this experience is gonna be with us two dingbats.
It's like the
yapping
worst
over top
way
of the
to
whole
listen
thing.
to for the first time.
But-
Worst way.
At
I
least
could not think
promise
of a
me
better
this,
way.
Greg. At least
Yes.
promise
Yeah.
me this: that you will go watch this film in a proper setting.
Again.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will. All right,
Okay.
I'll sit down with the wife in front of the.
How old are you?
fireplace. 34.
34. And I say I was 22 when I saw it for the first time. How old were you when you saw it?
I was
for the
like
first time?
16. It was like 1985.
1985. And Johnny?
I was like 18. yeah.
18. All right. So we've all seen it at different times in our life. And for Hansberry, it's It's your Christmas wish come true. So,
I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Yes.
without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, are we going to talk to him about the whole the bell thing?
Yeah, the
if
bell
you want
thing.
to, if you want to do it with
All right, so there might be some issues with copywriting.
Yeah.
So
maybe, possibly, who
maybe.
knows?
So there's a possibility where you will have to sync the podcast up with the movie, like how they do with the Wizard of Oz and,
Right.
and Dark Side of the Moon. So when you hear the bell toll 3 times,
The third time.
on the third time, then
Start the movie.
start the movie. Wait, that's
so
going
start
to
the
be
podcast,
backwards.
so-
How?
So pause the podcast, start the movie, and on the third bong,
Right.
hit it.
There
right?
you go.
Hit it.
Third
And they
bong.
should-
Third
Third
bong.
bong.
hit?
Third bong
third
round.
bong
Okay.
hit.
I thought this
Will
was
that
a
work?
drinking podcast.
Well, maybe we'll leave the bonging in
Okay,
Leave
we'll
the
leave the
bong
bong in.
because I don't think the bong is copyrighted.
Okay.
All right. So without further
So
ado,
something
ladies
like
and
that.
gentlemen, Merry Christmas. Here's It's a Wonderful Life on Whiskey Business. I can't believe that they actually let this thing go into public domain for the
Yeah.
longest time.
What a shame, right?
Well, no. Otherwise, I don't think a lot of people would have.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, like, what a shame that it got swept under the carpet for
Because
so
it wasn't
long.
a successful movie when it came out.
No, but also, I mean, it was nominated for Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got a lot of nominations, just underperformed.
Right, it was up against, I think, the same week it opened The Best Days of Our Life,
Yeah, and
which
that-
won Best Picture.
Right.
And that's a great movie too. Best Years of My Man. They made some good movies. They made some good movies back then.
That was
But
Billy
this one-
Wilder.
This one's special.
Yeah, so you've heard the story, right, about how Frank Capra tried to talk Jimmy Stewart into this movie.
Yeah.
You know, after the war, he had nothing. No, the parts weren't coming like he thought that they would. Frank Capra pitches him on this crazy idea, and he just, on good faith alone, just said, "I'm in."
And he was
Bedford
tired too.
Falls.
He had just gotten back, right? So he was actually physically tired.
Yeah, and also I think, they don't talk a lot about it, but he was also mentally damaged. He had flown so many bomber missions and lost so many men.
Right.
I didn't know that.
This is Jimmy Stewart you're talking about, or the
Yeah,
director?
Jimmy Stewart. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a
Imagine a
B-17 pilot.
time when Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Ryan Gosling, they all go to war. Imagine that. Imagine your
come back.
biggest movie stars going to fight in a war. It's like
A real
incomprehensible.
They wouldn't let
No.
that happen now.
It never happened today.
So when I was 16, I was sick. My family had some guests over there all playing cards downstairs. I see
Right.
this. I'm flipping through the channels. I see this.
This is what
This-
the first thing you see?
Yeah, the planet. Oh, I saw the whole thing from the beginning. But what's the abrupt switch from that, like, kind of, coming up from the streets, the houses, hearing the prayers, and then cutting to this cosmic globules talking to each other.
Right.
I was instantly hooked.
This
See,
is
and I was
trippy.
just like, the first time I saw it, like, what the hell is this? when I saw it for the first time.
Yeah, I did too, but I was like, what? It's crazy.
This is cool. I've never seen this scene before.
This is a visual effect, in case you guys were wondering.
Those aren't really two galaxies talking
No.
to
Not
each other.
really heaven.
Actually, no, it's a sonogram.
It's
That-
the
that is,
The top one is interesting.
Yeah.
Is he sick? No, worse. He's discouraged.
That line always gets me.
He's discouraged.
No, worse. He's discouraged. And the read on that line, is he sick? No, worse.
Oh,
He's discouraged.
dear, dear, his
That's one of those
wife,
things
and
that
I've only an hour to dress.
5 years ago, 10 years ago, I watched this movie. I would have cried instantly. Like, watching this movie so many times, it becomes like a poem.
I mean,
It's like a
might
song.
I perhaps win my way?
Like
could see that.
all the
Waited for
notes.
over 200 years now, sir,
That would
and
be,
people
that would
hardly
have been
get
my
into
first
talk.
tear cue.
Oh, the adventures of Tom
You
Sawyer.
find like the depending on what's going on in your life at the time,
Yes.
you pick up on different things.
Yes. because there are times where I've watched this film and I've got nothing but joy out of it. And there's been times where I've watched this film and I, like you, Johnny, I've bawled my eyes out throughout it at different times. And I think it does depend on where you're at in life.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. The first time I discovered this movie, it still hadn't, the copyright thing hadn't been worked out. So they were playing it ad nauseum on, and I watched this that first night, and man, I scared it up in the TV guide like the next 20 times, and I watched it that first year, maybe 10 times. The first year I'd ever seen it. I became obsessed with it. But what's interesting now, I look back, I'm 49 years old. I look back on it, what could this movie have possibly meant to a 16-year-old?
Depends on what you were
But
going
man,
through, man. I don't know,
I don't know.
if you maybe we should go back and listen to Johnny's last podcast with us, because you talked about your childhood in that one. So there might have been some stuff going on that we can connect the
I
dots.
was hammered. I don't know what I told you.
Oh, you said a lot, my friend. You said quite a lot. But it also registered with a lot of people. And there he goes into the ice.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious on whether this was shot at RKO Studios or for the Fox lot, because Fox had that big pool that they would shoot all the Buzzy Berkeley films on.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious on where they shot this. I was researching. I couldn't figure it out.
I've also always wanted to, after watching this movie, wanted to go down a snowy hill on a shovel.
Yeah, right.
I've never done that.
I'm going to try that.
There he is, the meanest.
This is probably the first Dickensian note that the movie
Yes.
hits, right? The entrance of Mr. Potter.
Yes.
There's the love of his
You know,
life.
it's like now watching this, like it's the motion, how he gets swung in through the door, and then the hee-haw, and then cut to Mary. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about poetry. Like, stuff is happening on a level that just happy accidents, moment by
Right.
moment.
Uh-oh.
And there's the
Violet Bick.
soon-to-be Tom Floozy. I love her line here.
She was here first. I'm still thinking. Shoelaces? Please, Georgie. I like him. You like
All the boys. See, dude, I could make you crazy.
What's
by now.
wrong with that?
Help me down. Help you down.
Help you down.
Yeah, good lord.
What do you think this is?
And that kid actually has like a Jimmy Stewart delivery.
Help
Yeah.
you down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, in that moment.
I wonder if they ever, like,
The practice?
hung out together, or if he gave him any.
I don't know, but I love that. He's got a perfect Jimmy Stewart delivery.
Say, Brainless, don't
Say,
you know
Brainless.
where coconuts come from? Look at here. From Tahiti.
He's had big dreams ever since a child.
Tahiti.
Yeah.
Magazine.
Either of you guys ever have a subscription to National Geographic magazine?
My
Ever?
dad did.
Or else they didn't have Playboy in the
Yeah,
house. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I did.
Saggy boobs.
I did.
Yeah.
And recently,
Saggy boobs with like bones through them. And
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah.
I got a
Horrible.
weird fetish
Yeah.
now because of that.
I'm going out exploring someday. You watch.
See, like
I'm
this,
gonna have a
how he
couple of
shakes
hands,
that
and maybe
ice cream
3 or
scooper
4
with that ice
wives.
cream. It gets like,
Wait and see.
you're like, oh my god, it's gonna fly off of there.
Right.
You know what I mean? It draws you in a way that.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this next scene is like really, really
How
sad.
awesome.
So I was
Baxter Warner, right? Warner
yeah.
Baxter.
Gower. Old
Yeah,
Man
Old
Gower.
Man Gower.
The
Think so,
actor's
yeah.
name escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, I
but-
think it's Warner Baxter or something like that.
But yeah, that telegram that he gets and the scene that's coming up that John's talking about. When I first saw it, I jumped.
Yeah.
In my seat in the
Yeah.
theater, like at how abusive it was.
Mr. Gower.
He's so good, man. What a great drunk. Look at this.
Yeah, H.B. Warner.
H.B. Warner. That's it.
H.B.
H.B. Warner.
Thank you.
He played
IMDb.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ in the silent.
Did he?
Yeah, he played Christ in a.
He is really,
production.
really good in this scene, by the way.
Yeah.
I know that there's small towns in America that are, still like Bedford Falls, but I've always wanted to go to spend a Christmas in a small town like that where you know, Christmas still meant something.
Well, you know where you should go. Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Indiana, Pennsylvania, that makes no sense.
It's the home of Jimmy Stewart, right?
Birthplace of Jimmy Stewart.
Right.
Oh, that's what they do it?
No, I'm saying, like, if you want to go to a small town and experience Christmas in a small town like this, it's not unlike Indiana, Pennsylvania, where you could take, like, a tour and, you know.
But they do it up.
They do it up, yeah.
Yeah, they do it up.
it's
That's what
nice.
I'm talking about, yeah. The old building and loan.
There, Captain Cook. Where you heading?
Gotta see Papa, Billy.
Some other time, George.
It's important.
See, now we got coffee mugs and there. Coffee.
What's the string on his pinky for?
Oh, he has to remember stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But what does he remember?
Uncle Billy. He's supposed to call the bank examiner. This guy, what's his name? Thomas. It's so ridiculous that I can't remember this now.
That's okay. You haven't watched it for a while.
I'll dig up that 5,000 somehow.
Thomas Mitchell.
Thomas Mitchell, great character actor, one of the great character actors. Jimmy Stewart and him co-starred in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Do that. These families have children.
Not my children.
What, there's
And
somebody
Jimmy Stewart's
stealing
mom played his mom in that as well, I think.
What's that?
The woman
yeah.
who played Jimmy Stewart's mother also
Right,
played his
and
mother.
I
in-
used to know her name. Don't tell me.
It's okay, I'm
It's like
sorry.
Beatrix or something.
And as much as I hate Potter, what a magnificently, wonderfully portrayed piece of shit bad guy.
Lionel Barrymore.
And I
is
know I'm
best.
talking
Push
too much
him.
because you turned the volume up.
no,
That's
no,
what
no,
I.
no, no,
That's
no,
what I
no.
do at home.
No,
When I'm
sorry.
trying to watch.
No, I have
Has he turned it back
I
down?
have a hearing deficit. I'm torn between actually talking about it and watching it.
I
so
know.
I get
I'm,
sucked up.
you know what? I'm erring on the side of talking about it because
Yeah.
I don't want to get emotionally waylaid.
You get an
Oh,
hour
here we
ago.
go. Here we go.
It sounds like me.
This is like really
This-
hard.
You know what?
Hard.
Did you hear what I said?
Beat the shit out of this kid.
What kind of tricks you playing?
Ah, man,
He really hit him, I believe. So
I don't see how he could not have.
And then the blood.
Yeah, the blood coming out of the ear.
he's bad here.
You lazy loaf.
Mr. Gower, you don't know what you're doing.
The
You put something
editing
wrong
is
in
so
those
great.
capsules. I know you're on it. B, you got the telegram and you're upset.
It's
You put
weird.
something
It's a
bad in
weird,
those
right? It's weird to
capsules.
cut
It wasn't your fault, Mr.
from the
Gower.
same shot to just a closer.
Right.
Just look and
But
see what
that's
you
how
did.
they did it back
But
then.
but it's also really effective. And to shoot through the shelving,
I know
Yeah,
you're
right. The
mad.
foreground
also
elements,
great,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
Look at that.
cool
How
shot.
beautiful he's framed between those glasses. The wateriness of his eyes
Don't
and
everybody
the reflection of the glasses.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
So he was drunk and he gave the dude wrong medicine.
Gave the wrong medicine. Would have killed the kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
would have killed him.
And he went to ask his dad what to do.
And this, see, this gets. I'm getting goosebumps right now at how generous a human being young George is. He doesn't. He's
He doesn't take it
comforting
out
this
on
guy.
him.
Everybody, no,
just hit him.
no.
Oh man,
I want a big one.
What a big one!
that was the first time I think I'd ever been aware of
Oh,
Jimmy
this is
Stewart.
tight. This freeze frame is cool.
George Bailey.
It's a good face.
Oh, you mean the kid that had his ears slapped back by the druggist?
That's the
And ever since that scene,
It's a good face.
I have been
like it. I like
struggling
George Bailey.
to find
Tell me, did he ever tell
the
anyone about
perfect
pills?
bag,
so.
the perfect suitcase
Did he ever
to
go
travel
exploring?
with.
Yeah.
The all-purpose. This is the ultimate suitcase / bag.
GD
Yeah.
Man, this guy's so good. He was the greatest. I think Jimmy Stewart was doing things back here and not well. Go back to the beginning of his career in the mid '30s, leading up to Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and some of the stuff he did in that movie. He was doing method acting stuff before they had the name for it. 20 years later, in 1950, Brando gets credit for doing all this method acting, like naturalism, like naturalistic gestures and whatnot. Jimmy Stewart was doing that stuff 20 years before that.
Sure he was.
The hemming, the hawing, and it wasn't fake. It was that was him getting at how people talk and how they behaved, you know?
Yeah, it was like not words don't come to people smoothly. People search for words, and that's what he did.
Exactly, right. And he had some really hard lines, like in the Philadelphia story, he has to say, there are fires banked down inside you, hearth fires and holocausts. He's got to say that. When anybody else says it, it sounds like an asshole saying it.
Right.
Jimmy Stewart takes that impossible line and makes it sing.
I love this.
I've said that many times,
yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, I do that too. When anybody compliments me on something I'm wearing, this whole thing.
When he says, I got to go see the wife.
Gloria Graham,
Would you? Yes.
one of the
I love
great
this line
character
coming up.
actresses.
How would you like to
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I would.
How would you like to bang the shit out of her?
Basically.
This is where Would You started.
I'm gonna check and see
originated.
what the wife's
Right.
doing. Look, they all got hot.
My second cry cue is coming up here.
Oh, let them alone. I wish I was up there with them.
Yeah, that's the
When
dad.
they sit and talk,
Yeah,
father and son.
yeah,
You were born old.
yeah.
Or something.
You were born older.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he says, "Say, Pop." If it was like, does he say,
Oh,
"Say,
God,
Pop"?
yeah.
If it wasn't me talking, right or what? There's. Ma Bailey. You idiots! That I always loved that too because it reminded me of a real family.
Yeah, sure.
I don't care. It's George's tux. Annie, my sweet, have you got those pies?
You lay a hand on me, I'll hit you with this broom.
Annie, I'm in love with you. There's a moon outside.
And what the hell? He
Smack
just
her
slapped her in the
A
ass.
little smack of the ass.
And you know what sucks is you couldn't show that today,
No.
but it's bullshit because in reality people do stuff like that
In real
when,
life.
in real life when
real
you're
moments.
intimate in a familial
Sure.
context, you will do that.
Yeah.
What's the matter? You look tired. Oh, I had another tussle with Potter today.
Fucking
Old
Potter.
buzzard.
Board of directors, he'd ease up on us a little bit. Oh, what's eating that old money-grubbing buzzard anyway?
I like the fact you can barely understand a word that Jimmy Stewart's saying in this
Mouth
scene.
is full.
He hates everybody that has anything that he can't have. Hates us mostly, I guess.
Sick in another line that always stuck with me. Sick in his mind, sick in his soul if he has one.
Put those things in the car and I'll get your time scheduled.
You ever met anybody like that?
Okay, Mom.
Yeah.
Drop one of those.
Afraid so.
They're usually news directors.
Here we go.
Directors.
I was gonna say, how long did it take to get there? Only about 10 minutes in.
How long are we into the film?
Girls and music.
Why do they need gin?
Gin.
Tell us, Dino. Why do we need gin? Why do we need whiskey?
Why? Because it
You know, George, I wish
soothes.
we could send Harry to college.
This,
with us.
watch.
Your mother and I talked it over half the night.
We have that all
There are a couple of moments I think I might.
My job in the building alone, worked there 4 years.
It might happen yet, where Jimmy Stewart
Pretty young for that job.
will say, "How's that?" He'll go, "How's that?"
Yeah.
Knowing that his character's right ear is or
Yeah.
left ear is. See, right,
Right,
there,
right.
he did it.
He leans
in.
his
Yeah,
other
how's
ear
that?
What you want to do when you get out.
So good, man.
Oh, well, you know what I've always talked about, build things, design new buildings, plan modern cities. All that
See,
stuff.
right here, he's
After that
still,
first million before
Jimmy
you say,
Stewart is still
Half that in cash.
in his mind on track.
just a whole
Oh, yeah.
He's leaving, man.
Yeah.
The world is open to
Excited.
him
The
right now.
door, yeah,
Consider
he's
coming back to the
going,
building alone, would you?
Idealistic.
and he's got to break his father's heart.
Well, Franny, why don't you draw up a chair? Then you'd be more comfortable. And you'd
Oh
hear.
man,
Yeah.
I would if
Yeah.
I found anything
Yeah.
worth listening to.
so good. You
And
were-
right here, when he says, "I'm gonna miss her,"
Soon to talk about it.
No, Pop, I couldn't. I
It's
couldn't
this
face
idea
being
of-
cooped up for the rest of my life in a shabby little office.
saving 2 cents on a length of pipe.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pop. I didn't mean that. It's this business of nickels and dimes and spending all your life trying to figure out how to save 3 cents on a length of pipe. I go crazy. I want to do something big and something important.
You know,
So
George,
much of this language
I
is
feel
just
that in a
buried in
small
my
way
head,
we're
like
doing
you know.
something
oh yeah, for sure.
satisfying a fundamental urge. It's deep in the race for a man to want
This
his own roof.
this
in the race.
message,
and fireplace.
this message right here. I mean,
Helping him get those things
it
out.
applies today. I mean, if you talk to somebody, even us, you know, about if you we're both from Steubenville,
Yeah.
and we got out of
Penny's like a
Steubenville.
miser here. And
Right.
And if someone would have said, you
My
know,
friends have already finished
you
college.
know, I'd like you to stay
I just feel like if I didn't
and work
get
at the
away,
mill.
I'd bust.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the truth. Maybe part of the reason why this movie resonates so
You're right, son.
deeply and acutely with me is, you know, I had dreams of getting out of Steubenville. I wanted to go to film school in New York. I wanted to become the good-looking Woody Allen. That was my goal.
I don't think it's a thing.
It's because it hasn't happened. 'Cause I was gonna do it. I was gonna be
still
that.
time.
And I didn't have the guts. I didn't have the guts to roll the dice on that.
Ah, man,
And
I think you're being too hard on yourself when you say you don't have the guts.
well, I didn't. I'm almost 50 years old, which I know is
Doesn't
hard
matter,
for people
man.
listening to believe when they hear this voice.
I understand.
That guy's 50. It sounds like a 13-year-old. I sound like
But you
like
did
Jimmy
get out
Stewart.
of Steubenville.
I did, yeah, 150 miles west.
Doesn't matter. You got out, and you've done it. You've done things that you probably never imagined that you would
Right,
do.
I know, but you see
if
what
you
you're
would've
telling
stayed
me
in
right now.
Steubenville.
You're telling me you're giving me the narrative of this movie right now. That the,
Well, it's your
listen,
narrative. It's my narrative.
No, I know. What? Right, I'm not.
I never
complaining.
thought I'd be the good-looking Woody Allen.
I'm just.
But
No, I mean I get it. I get it. The things that I have accomplished, the things that I do have, the people who I do love and that love me. That's the lesson of this movie. I mean, yeah, I didn't do that thing, but there's a lot of great stuff. I'm not discounting it. What I'm saying is it's, you look back, this movie's about dashed dreams.
Right.
And finding the beauty in the dreams you didn't see where you were just sitting on your whole life.
So, are
Right?
you saying that? Oh, obviously, life would have been different if we stayed in Steubenville. Are you saying, not to be a spoiler here with the film for those that have never seen it, like Hansberry, but you think we could have carved out a wonderful life in Steubenville if we would have stayed?
No, wow, that's interesting. I wasn't even thinking of that.
Or if life had dictated something to the effect that we couldn't have left Steubenville, that we had to stay in Steubenville.
Yeah.
Like George, things happened to George where he had to stay in Bedford Falls. If things would have happened to us where we had to stay in Steubenville,
You know what? I
we would have
probably-
adjusted, dude.
Maybe.
We would have adjusted.
Or I would have committed suicide.
No.
You mean like Alfalfa right there? Who
Like,
shot himself in the
there's
head?
Albert Schweitzer, right? Alfalfa. Look how beautiful
Donna
their
Reed.
profiles
She's
are.
a babe.
Donna
Look at-
Reed.
I love how their profiles kind of. You want them to kiss. Anyway, what I was gonna say is, had I followed my dream, had I left Steubenville and gone to New York City, I wouldn't have had our friendship. And I think about those kind of things.
Well, I guess that's in a way.
you know what
yeah.
I mean? I would have never met you.
And yeah, you're right.
And those are the kind of things like
And your
I
life
take
would
stock
have
of.
been your life would have been less for it. I understand.
It absolutely would have. I would have committed
love you.
suicide in New York City.
Alone.
It would have been like somebody
In a
would have said,
smaller
"What are you
apartment."
missing in your life?" I'd be like, "This surly Greek,
Surly
Greek drinking guy. I feel like there's a hole in me, the shape of a surly, well manicured, bearded." Drinking.
Not that well manicured, but thank you. I
like
love
it.
this day. I love this scene.
Yeah.
So was this shot in Burbank High School or?
Oh, I thought Beverly Hills High School, but
You're right. Beverly Hills. Yeah.
And the whole.
There's Violet again, and Sam Wainwright.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Why would he be at this high school dance?
He's one of those guys, that never got over being in high school.
Yeah, you know what's great though is they don't point that out. Like
right.
they don't point that fact out that that's Sam Wainwright.
It was a different time. And furthermore,
Did you further realize?
These kids are up to no good. Senior prank.
Yeah.
oh, this is cool.
George Bailey's right over the crack. Ugh.
But what's really cool is that this is a real pool and a real gymnasium.
Yeah.
And this physically was shot live.
Right. Audiences
All in
saw this
camera.
and thought this was some big
Effects or
like this
something,
didn't exist.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
so this
that.
is it.
That is awesome.
He's so into the foxtrot, he doesn't notice.
No,
Yeah.
this is hilarious.
it's
I love it when the
once
kids
again,
back.
I hate to harken back to the first time I saw it in the theater, but the audience, even in that summer in 1982, watching this scene, you see the crowd going crazy, and everybody in the audience was just laughing and going like, "Whoa!" And I was too. Like, are they going to go in? They have to go in, right? Yes, of course they do. Boom.
I love how high his leg comes
That's
up.
such
in
a
that
classic.
close-up.
And that guy's mad.
And it just keeps
Still
going.
dancing. Yeah, she's laughing. Oh my God, what joy captured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then here comes everybody.
Everybody.
Now, I don't know if I'm
did
going to
they-
be mad at you at the end of this or happy that you're going to be.
I don't know either, but you know what? I'm willing to take that chance because
Me too.
I think it was important that you and I watch this movie together and get it out. As I told you in a text message when you were leery about it. What'd I tell you? Sack up, George.
Yes. That's right.
So
Oh
what
my
did
God,
they
one of the
write
great
that
sequences
plot
of all
around
time.
That
This one coming
Yes,
up?
Yes.
that
Which
that
part of
pool
this?
thing?
The whole thing?
And, yeah, look, just cutting to
I think I
that
knew
right
it
there
was
at that
existed.
moment. And then the way he says, of the moon. God, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Hot dog, just like an organ.
I told Harry I thought I'd be
The
bored.
robe,
You should see
the
the
textures of it are
locker
so
room.
great.
I had to knock down 3 people to get this stuff we're wearing here. Let me hold that old
Yeah.
wet dress of yours.
Now, this is one of the scenes where you can hear Jimmy Stewart's
You look wonderful.
naturalistic
You know, if it wasn't
perform,
me
the
talking,
way
I'd
he
say you was
approaches
the prettiest
language
girl in
and listens, reacts.
Why don't you say it?
town. I don't know. Maybe I will say it. How old are you anyway?
18.
18.
18?
Why
That
was
was
this?
only last year. You were 17.
Young too old.
Oh, no.
She's
Just right. Your age fits you.
Yeah.
Sorry. You look a little older without
So
your clothes
beautiful.
on. I mean,
Really
with a-
beautiful.
with a
And,
dress, you look
you know,
older.
I think I may have actually sought out some VHSs at the time.
Sir.
I think I ended up going to the store and buying some old Donna Reed shows
Oh, really?
to watch her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Caboose, me lady.
You may kiss my hand.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, Mary.
As I was lumbering
Hey,
down
Mary.
the street,
I should kiss you right about now.
down the street.
Okay, then I'll throw a rock.
So this is a great story about Jimmy Stewart. You see how he's holding his pants up right here?
No, you see,
World
you
War
like to
II
wait
breaks
till
out.
break
He
some
says,
glass
I'm
and
going
you
to
get a good
enlist.
shot nowadays, too.
Oh,
He
no,
goes
it's
down
not.
to the
It's full of romance, that old
the
place.
office, whatever, you know, where they would go
Right.
to enlist.
Recruitment.
Yeah, the recruitment office. He doesn't pass the physical. They say for your height, you're too skinny. Jimmy Stewart had an out.
What'd you wish
He did not have to go to World War II. He left the office, the recruitment office. He went and he ate for 2 weeks straight. Everything. He put on enough weight, he went right back, and he said, let's do this thing.
Wow.
And he enlisted. Isn't that great?
Different time, brother.
Wanted to go.
Different time.
Hey, yeah, he wanted to go. So when you're watching this scene, right, he's got such youthful exuberance. This is a man who went to war
Yeah.
and had been damaged by it.
What'd you wish, Mary?
There's always glue, man. She's the glue. She's the glue.
Yeah.
She's the glue.
Right. Well, did she throw her rock yet, or was I yapping over
No,
that?
she
She
just
did,
did.
and that was all live in camera, right?
Okay, so she threw her rock, and you realize that that's the moment every dream of his dies.
If I don't, I might
Downer.
Rock.
You're such a downer.
It's her
John.
fault.
That's yes,
It's her fault. You're blaming Mary.
yes. You don't think
She
that?
she wishes to be with him.
She wishes that he'll stay there and be with her.
And her wish is what
But that's
made
her
him
wish.
stay
She doesn't. she's-
Okay,
she's-
well, she canceled his wish out,
Better rock, better throw.
right?
Or
I mean,
maybe
it for me it happens in that moment. Right now, you can say, you don't have to put a negative spin on it.
Am I talking too
Like,
much? Yes.
I think you just did.
but all these other great things happen to him. You know, his whole life.
Yeah, but you don't know that now. When
Right.
you're watching it,
Well-
are you saying when you're watching? If you're watching this for the first time, you're saying, well, or even for the second time.
Probably the second time.
Second
because
time,
when
she's
you go
messing
back
up.
and think about it, he throws his rock, right?
Yeah, right. Makes his wish.
Right, and then she throws her rock, and then
Makes her wish.
right, and
Sir,
it cancels out his wish.
Why does it cancel it out? Why can't it just be
Because
equal wishes?
none of it happens for him.
But why can't they just be equal wishes?
You're saying her
Why is-
wishes
why-
are
why is
more
her wish
powerful than his
stronger
wishes?
So a woman's wishes are more powerful, John.
are you saying?
Do you even have to ask that? They have vaginas. Everything they do is more powerful.
That's right. I was married for over 25 years, and they're more powerful.
Okay, I give up. Where are you?
Over here.
Uh-oh.
In the hydrangea bushes.
In the vagina bushes.
Wait a minute.
I like that they had to specifically tell you what
Yeah.
they couldn't just say in the bushes.
The
Yeah.
hydrangeas.
In the hydrangea bushes.
Which is
This
great.
is a very interesting situation.
Please give me my robe.
And
Man
here's the
doesn't get in a
first.
situation like this every day.
Here's the
I'd
first
like to have
manifestation
my
of her
robe.
wish.
Not in Bedford Falls.
Right?
anyway.
Just when something good is going to happen to him, just when he's going to experience something really
Little
great,
thought here.
Give me my robe.
shit
I've heard about
happens.
things like this, but I never.
I-
Shame on you. I'm going to tell your mother on you.
Well, my mother's
Ja-
way up in the corner.
So,
I'm blaming everything on her.
you blame everything on Mary.
Be on my
Yeah, that's
side.
not to say she's
Then I'm going to
not. She's
And yet
great.
she's the glue.
right. She's amazing. Who wouldn't want to be married to her?
Not
just-
you, apparently.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying. Listen, how can you even argue this? She makes the wish, and all the bad shit starts to happen.
Okay, all right, yeah, but I don't think it's because of her wish. I never thought of it like that.
Well,
Your father's had a stroke.
thanks to Mary.
That bitch.
George, get in the car. Your father's had a stroke. Thanks to Mary's stupid fucking wish.
Fucking playing around in hydrangea bushes.
That was in the
And
original
she knows
script.
it. She knows it.
Yeah,
Her wish
see,
is what
right
did
there.
it.
No, she's
'Cause she's a
coming to
witch.
it. No. She's worried about George.
No, she's actually. I don't know. You look at that close up. I think you could argue that in that moment she's empathizing, but also maybe there's a bit of like.
Maybe I have powers I'm
he's
not
not gonna
aware
go
of.
away. He's
Maybe
not
I have
gonna go
powers I'm not aware of.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, come on.
It's also a great scene.
We should put a horror film score to the back behind this. Change the whole thing.
This obviously is awesome. George is giving this comeuppance to Potter is
Right.
amazing.
Have you ever done that?
Oh, been able to really rail someone
Ever
like
been
that?
ever been able to really
Great
give,
question.
give someone up their comeuppance?
That's a great question. And no, that's why I don't watch this movie anymore. One of the reasons.
Very well.
To have a scene like that, to have have a moment like that
Yeah, well, I'm
in,
trying to think.
in
of-
life or in work.
I'm trying to think. No, I don't think so.
I think you probably have. You probably don't even realize it.
I'll go further than that.
Maybe can I have some more?
Yeah, you can have all you want.
So there's something.
Please, sir. May I
there's
have
some
some more?
Different movie, different podcast.
But there's no. Good lord.
There's something that's coming up in just a few minutes. That's like the way that Frank Capra uses the camera with people acting within the camera frame, and how he goes from a wide shot to close up. And I think it's a theme of like how life is closing in on George
Oh,
Bailey.
interesting.
And there's like mental shifts that happen within just one shot.
When we get to that
represented by
scene-
But there's one coming up too. Another example here.
Another example of it, not the one you told me about earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we can keep talking until I'll just.
Worth $5,000.
Look
I
at
love
Jimmy
this
Stewart's
movie.
face.
Well, I handled that, Mr. Potter. You
It's
have
kind
all
of
the
a little bit of
papers,
shame right
salary,
there.
insurance. I can personally
I'm
vouch for
sorry
his
that I
character.
did that.
Friend of yours.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You see,
Ugh,
if you shoot
this guy makes me
pool with
nuts.
some employee
If you
idiots
shoot
in
pool or
town
play
tomorrow
poker
night,
at Dino's, then you're going to get a house.
He thinks he's on the catbird seat right now.
He is. He always thinks he's in the catbird seat. Potter,
Watch Jimmy Stewart's face. No editing. It's all happens in one. Just a minute.
he's in the moment, man.
Just a minute. Now, you're right when you say my father was no businessman.
There you
I know
go.
that.
Stick up for your
Why he ever
dad.
started this cheap penny ante building alone, I'll never know. But
Boom.
neither you nor
Watch how he
anybody else
leans
can
in
say
here.
anything against his character because his whole life.
He's gonna
That's
lean in
right.
for a
In
second.
the 25 years since he and Uncle Billy started this thing, he never once thought of himself. Isn't that right, Uncle Billy? He didn't save enough money to send Harry to school, let alone me.
His thumb.
But he did
I
help
love
a few
that
people get out
gesture.
of your slums, Mr. Potter.
Blah, 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 says Potter.
Here, you're all businessmen here. Doesn't make them better citizens? Doesn't make them better customers? You said that what'd you say just a minute ago? They had to wait and save their money before they even thought of a decent home? Wait for what? Until their children grow up and leave them? Until they're so old and broken down that
Yawn.
He's yawning.
Watch this.
$1,000? Just remember this, Mr. Potter, that this rabble you're talking
That.
about.
How
they
he
do most
leans
of the
in.
working and
That's what
paying and
Spielberg
living and
does with a
dying in this
camera.
community.
Jimmy Stewart just did
Was
it with his
too much
body.
to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him, but to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested
No,
in your
man.
book.
It was hard for me not to cry right there.
That's a great moment.
I know very well what you're talking about. You're talking about something you can't get your fingers on, and it's galling you. That's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
right.
I know. Well, I said too much.
No, you didn't, Jimmy.
You're the
You said
boy
just
here. You know
enough.
what you want with this thing. There's just one thing more, though.
Put
This
the old man in his
town
place.
needs this measly
In
one
previous
more thing.
podcasts, we talked about our
It's
old
only to have
men,
someplace
our
where people
fathers.
can come without crawling to Potter. Come on.
I've
Yeah.
never had a moment like that where I defended my old man.
Send a man
Yeah.
hogwash. I want my
You know,
And I'm sorry for that. I wish there would have been a moment in my life where I could have stood up and defended him.
yeah.
But being the type of father he wasn't. He wasn't.
He wasn't Peter Bailey.
He wasn't Peter Bailey.
My dad was not Peter Bailey either.
No, either. So it's like
But I've had that, like I was estranged from my dad for many years. I love, by the way, that I can be estranged. That I was estranged because when I was a kid and I read movie descriptions,
Yeah.
I always saw that word estranged. And I was like, that
Estranged.
sounds so fucking cool.
that's what
I want to be estranged.
I don't.
Careful what you wish for there.
Yeah.
I don't
So-
hate my father. I'm
Here comes
estranged from him.
Yeah.
the shot I was talking about, though.
Oh, right
The
here.
shot.
So
What's up with the fucking
it's
bird?
coming up in just a second here. So he's about to leave, right? And he's about to leave. He's finding out now that they're about to that they'll only go with the saving the loan if it right here. So
Oh, yeah.
his life is open. He's about to walk through a certain door into a close-up. His world is closing.
Damn, it's so good.
His world is
To
closing.
answer your question, Greg,
Yeah, the
the
bird.
animals, the birds. There's a bird and a squirrel in this movie. Capra used to have them on set.
The Raven, yeah.
The Raven was always on set, so they just let it. They just kind of work it in.
And they never explained why it's
Man,
in this
it's
movie.
Uncle Billy and his.
He's crazy bird. Crazy Uncle
he
Billy's
just has
bird.
Shit lying around, birds and squirrels.
All right, and now so he
Oh my God.
stays. He stays, and now he's excited again because now his brother's back, and
I'm gonna.
here we go.
Yeah, I'm going to point out to you all here what I think is one of the finest moments in screen acting ever.
Is it happening right here?
It
It
happens
does ha-
during
and
this
this is-
scene.
and
We're about
this-
to say
so
the same thing.
This is when
I'm
this,
gonna
this
tell-
is the scene that Johnny also pointed out to me. So I'll let
Okay.
the two
You
do it.
Johns
You do it.
Go,
You
no,
do
no,
it.
no, no, no.
Well, I'm gonna tell you-
the two Johns go at it.
I'm going to tell you right here, right? He finds out that his. Watch his face. Do not take your eyes off of Jimmy Stewart's face. First of all, he discovers that his brother got married, right?
Right.
But the second thing is he discovers that he's stuck again. He gets stuck again, right?
What Johnny said to me
And
earlier.
all the other characters walk off screen. You watch Jimmy Stewart process this information. Is he going to be pissed? Is he going to be a dick? Is he going to be a douchebag? Is he going to be rude? No, you watch him put all his feelings aside to be happy for his brother's marriage. And he goes from crestfallen to smiling in the span of a few seconds. It's, for me, one of the great achievements in screen acting. Right here, watch.
Yep. So we'll pop into another close-up here. And that's kind of the same theme of the way Capra uses the frame. So his life was open and with hope and dreams that he had, right?
Right here, watch this.
And right here, right.
He's thinking everything is
It
going.
changes.
His whole life is going.
But then it goes into a close-up, which means his
now,
life is closing
as he
in and
approaches
is
them.
changing, right?
Right.
Bumps that person.
Yep, making the decision to take the high road, right?
And then he smiles. It's
Yep.
fucking beautiful.
Yeah, and then we go into a two-shot.
It's beautiful, man.
It opens back up to Hope because she's got the hope of her future.
And now he's
and the brother's
selfless
future.
again.
Yep.
He's selfless again.
So we're
Now-
on the same page, Johnny, on this one.
Yeah, John, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's the one
I've always seen
pointed
it.
that out to me before you
Really?
got here.
That's so
And I
great.
said I'll never look at this scene the same way again.
Wow.
And no, I won't.
I love how he bumps into that woman, and he's just like, he's still,
Doesn't
his
even
eyes
faze
are
him.
darting
Yeah.
around.
No, he doesn't even say
And then he
excuse
puts
me.
it all aside.
Does he though?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
in that moment he does.
He has to push it all
Yes,
down.
but in that moment he does. Do you see the joy he gives them? He like honors their.
gives them the joy, but there's no big decisions made at that point. I mean, his brother said he was going to pick up the slack.
Yeah, but I think
But
he understands.
He's
it.
already resolved.
He's got to stay around to keep
I
up
think
the
he
family
knows
He's
business.
already
Is
resigned
that it?
himself to
He
the
knows
fact that
he's
he's
fucked.
staying.
His brother's not going to do that.
Oh, maybe I better go home.
Right, because he's got to take over the family
Brother's
business. Is
selfish
that
as
it?
fuck.
Right. His brother's not doing it.
Yeah, I got it.
This is mine. The middle one.
Yeah.
You know what? I always
Uncle
thought
Billy.
that was bullshit. The middle one. Like I thought that like when you're so drunk.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this is true. I got really upset one night and put down an ungodly amount of whiskey, and I got really mad and I was gonna go fucking off and tell somebody I was gonna go do this thing. Right? I got in my car, which is stupid. I know.
Right,
I got in my
right.
car. Right?
No judgment.
I got in my car and I started driving down my street, and I saw all the parked cars, and there were like 3 or 4 of them, like and I had to like close one eye, and then focus on the fact that I eliminated 2 of them now,
Right.
and I immediately parked the car and got out, and I was like, "That's crazy," but that is true. You will at
saw
some
3.
point. I saw 3.
You saw 3.
Yeah, I saw 3 of them.
Don't know if I saw
Is that good?
3. I've
No?
never seen 3. I've
Yeah.
seen 2. I've seen 2, but never 3.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I was seeing 3.
Did you
I've
pick
seen
the middle
6
one?
during bed
I
spins.
picked the
think.
middle one. Yeah, when I closed one eye, I was smart enough, by the way, to close one eye.
Yeah.
And when I closed one eye,
that really help?
I eliminated 2.
Does that really help?
Yes, closed one eye and I eliminated 2,
You should have one of those cool DP patches in your back pocket.
and I pulled
Pirate.
right over.
You pirate patch.
Mm-hmm.
She played his mom at least 3 or 4 times.
Right.
She did.
Yeah. In Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, in another movie called Of Human Hearts, which is.
I wonder what the age difference really was between them.
Sure, Sam.
He's probably, what, 32 or 33 or something like that?
Yeah, he's in his.
Well, this is 49, so probably he's mid.
This is 46.
46, sorry.
So, I'm not sure.
It's like when Donna Reed said 18.
Beulah Bondi.
She's not 18. Come on.
Beulah Bondi.
Early 20s.
Thanks, Greg.
Born
Yeah.
in 1889.
Wow.
Wow. Well, I mean, yeah.
So can you find out how many times she played his mom?
She died in 81, almost was 100 years old there.
Wow.
Not there. She's
by the
not
way-
100
Well,
year old
right.
there.
Penny's Serenade.
Oh,
She's in
Penny
that.
Serenade.
Penny
that's,
Serenade. That's Cary Grant. That's
that's
not
Cary
James.
Grant.
okay,
That's Cary Myrna Loy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think I'll go out and
Yeah.
find a
She was
girl
in
Yeah.
the Waltons.
passionate necking. Now,
I don't know,
we'll just
without
point
knowing
me in the
who's
right
all-
direction.
This is great. The way she reacts to him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that, yeah, man, makes me miss my mom. She would do that shit, you know.
Good night, Mrs. Bailey.
Oh, man. And still, this
Are
scene-
both your parents gone?
My father's gone. My mother's still.
Okay.
I just had Thanksgiving with my mother. She's 82. She'll be 83 this July, coming July.
The best thing about both of my parents being dead is this joke where I get to say, I'll drop that like real heavy, like, oh, I lost both my parents. And then they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's okay. And I can stay up as late as I want now.
We'll end up down at the library.
Yeah. And
a good joke.
never
Yeah.
fails to. Summer hates that joke
Why?
because I say it all the time.
Oh,
Like, I
well,
do
she's
all the
heard
time.
it a billion
But
times.
so, yeah.
It's a good joke.
4 times, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Vivacious Lady
Yeah. Oh my God, have you seen Vivacious?
of Human
I have not.
Hearts.
Of Human Hearts. Yeah. So good. One of the great screwball comedies.
Never seen it.
Go up to the falls. It's beautiful up there.
This is it. I love this.
There's a green pool up
She
there.
ain't so bad herself
We
there.
can, swim in it.
Is this the
Gloria
Tom
Graham
Hooker?
was
She,
great.
she thinks he's nuts.
Smell the pines,
All she
watch
wants
the
is a
sunrise
good
against
time,
the peaks, and we'll
but
stay up there the
she
whole
don't want a
night.
crazy good
Everybody will be
time.
talking,
Yeah.
there'll be a terrific scamper.
Well, she doesn't want romance.
She doesn't want
No.
commitment.
Romance is alien to her.
Is this the blonde from the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little blonde that was sitting up. You know.
You think all of them are?
Yeah.
You like all of them or
You like all
whatever?
boys.
yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Oh my God, this scene is so good. It's so frustrating how great this movie is.
So frustrating or just so...
Oh, I mean, like, it just gets me tongue-tied. Like,
There she is.
What are you doing? Picketing?
Oh, Mary,
Picketing. Get it?
I just
Yeah.
happened to be passing by.
Yes, so I noticed.
Was that during all the union
made up
issues
your
back in
mind?
the...
How's that?
You made up
so,
your mind.
you know...
She's
Start
in.
coming in.
She's in.
Yes, she loves this guy. She
She
knows what she wished.
My mother just
She
told me-
knows what she wished.
Didn't you tell her?
She wished death and destruction.
She
And-
wished no matter what happened. I'm sure she
So
didn't
is
wish
Jimmy
anything-
Stewart? And like I said, not to spoil what's coming, but for anybody that's watched the movie, they know she's all excited. The mom is beside herself because she's
a loser.
fucking things up with Sam
Wayne,
Wainwright,
the rich guy.
the rich guy.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Aw.
when does
George Lasso's the moon?
I seriously consider
you
getting
think-
that as a tattoo, by the way.
do you think that Jimmy Stewart just caves and accepts his fate, or does he really love Mary?
Like
I think
settles?
He really loves.
You
I
think
think he
settles?
really I
settled,
think he-
yeah.
And the sex was great.
I really think he. I mean, come on. I can't. He loves her. Otherwise, why are we sitting here? That's retarded.
But if he loved her, then why did he make such a? Why was he so crestfallen when his brother came back? If he loved
Because
Mary,
he's still
was he,
dealing with the fact that
was he going to
he's still-
take Mary with him? No,
No, I guess not.
no, he wasn't going to take Mary with him.
No, but he's still. He can. All these emotions can coexist. That's the thing, right? Like-
See, he's kind of bitter right now.
Yes, for
So
sure.
she
He's
doesn't
kinda
represent
bitter.
his failures of getting out of town.
Right, like he's, his self-esteem is plummeting minute by minute.
Yes. My family and
She remains the glue.
The glue or the salve.
Sticks a little bit, but has a little bit of
the glue or the
viscosity. You're right.
salve.
See the glue or she the healing ointment. She's the ointment.
Okay.
She's the ointment.
All right, so at what point?
Like, watch what a dick he is. He's a. See, this is
he's a
great.
total dick.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a total dick in this
Right.
scene.
What's this? Oh yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
she
right.
drew. She's
Still-
an artist. I don't
sti-
get
I
it.
see. It still smells like pine needles around here.
Yeah.
He's a complete ass.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. I love the way she says thank you right there.
Dick.
And like,
Yeah.
And by the way, unlike George Bailey, she actually went to college, right? Another thing that's kind of galling.
That's probably true. I never thought about that, Johnny.
Nice, John.
Never thought about that.
She got out for a while.
Nice about your brother Harry and Ruth, isn't it?
Trying to
Oh
keep him
yeah,
there.
yeah. Bring
See,
that up.
She's trying to keep him there. He's getting ready to leave. She's trying to keep him
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So even in a microcosmic sense, in the house, she's trying to keep him from leaving. And in the macrocosmic sense, she's keeping him from leaving the town. Now,
This is really
Have some more drinks, Johnny.
Slam
Macrocosm.
in the Women podcast. That's gonna be the title of it.
That's right.
But-
It's a wonderful life, except
Greg,
for all the
make
damn
no
women.
mistake. She's worth staying for.
It's true.
She's worth staying for.
How could you say that? How could you? And you can't. You,
She
you-
just
you
damns
can't-
him with the window
you
brick.
can't pick both of them.
I can.
You can't say that she throws a stone and cancels out his wish, and then say she's worth staying for.
I can.
How?
She's gorgeous and
She
she's
is
sweet.
gorgeous.
She's a
She's
sweet
sweet.
human being. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what she doesn't. You know what? This is probably the movie's misogyny and not mine, which I probably have some of. But yeah, listen. This is the movie's misogyny. Is that maybe what's being posited here is that she doesn't understand the value of those dreams.
His dreams?
Yes, she doesn't understand the value of.
She's pissed now. She smashed the
Nice.
record.
I love when people break stuff.
Breaking
You know what?
records.
Because
Yeah.
when I break stuff,
Do you
I
think
get
she-
in trouble.
Do you think she's having second thoughts right about now?
No, but we have to pay attention to this scene. By the way, Jimmy Stewart was very nervous to shoot this scene because it was his first romantic kissing scene since 1940, since Philadelphia Story.
He does it upright.
Right. Apparently, legend has it that he just threw out like 2 pages of dialogue. So when he snatches her up and starts kissing her
Yeah.
in this moment, there was like 2 pages of dialogue that he just tossed aside because he was again
In the moment.
in the moment and doing it. And
Catches
he
her off
apologized to Capra after it, and he was like, "Got it."
Yeah, that shows how generous Frank Capra was.
Yeah.
as
Was he a
director.
generous director, Johnny?
Well, if you let him do that, yes, I would say so. You throw out 2 pages of dialogue.
Look at
yes.
Sam Wainwright. Still trying to keep things going with Mary while he's got all
a bunch of whores.
While he's got the dames
I know,
on the
right?
side.
Hold us, baby.
This
She doesn't
movie's
care
already
about
2
Sam
hours
Raimi.
long. There's
Now
only
I
like
will
2
tell you this:
pages.
one of the magic moments in all of cinema is when their noses brush
Yeah.
together, and if you don't feel that in your soul, you might be a dick.
You might be dead inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, watch
Yeah.
his nose on her hair. You can't smell
Yeah.
that. That's why she's worth it, even though she makes that awful wish. That's why. Because
Dream crusher.
Them pheromones must be strong, man.
You can smell her hair. Look at that. Oh my God.
This is good stuff right here.
It's making me nuts.
Yeah, look, he's still business minded, even for just a second.
Yeah, but
why
he's
would
being,
you go there when you can
right,
bring it over here?
Right, he's trying to be both places at once.
Yeah.
Right?
This would never happen with speakerphone these days. iPhone crushed this movie.
And I'll tell you the truth.
Shut up, millennial. Watch the movie.
His reaction here,
Yeah.
to her is the answer to your question to me. This is why. Because it's overpowering the love he has for her.
Yeah, it's palpable, isn't it?
Yeah, oh my God.
And it lingers. It's like, this is so long.
Watch. Ugh.
Uh,
Greg, how awesome is that, right?
There's so much going on in this scene.
Have you seen
in
anything
both
like
of their
this
minds.
in contemporary film?
In both of their minds.
This is sexier than anything that's made today, as far as
And
I'm concerned.
when his
Except
nose
for the
pushes
50
in.
Shades.
Now he's going to
Clergy.
throw that phone down.
I'm here.
I love displays of anger in movies because you can't do it in real life anymore.
Chance of a lifetime. He's offering them.
Yeah.
He's telling them to invest.
Hey, watch.
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Chance of a
Perfect.
lifetime. There it is.
Oh God, their noses.
Now you listen to me. I don't want any plastics, and I don't want any ground floors, and I don't want to get married ever to anyone. You understand that? I want to do what I want to do. And you're...
He can't do it. He just can't do it.
George.
Mom.
Oh.
Yeah. Mom's upset.
There goes the Paris trips.
Yeah.
Now, got a little watery there. Got a little watery.
Guy
but-
got a little
Yeah, that's
watery.
good stuff.
But a tear did not drop.
Yeah.
I won't give you a tear, Dino.
Congratulations, Johnny.
I have learned how to manage my tears until one particular scene where
All bets are off. Tell
All
me what it
bets
is
are
now.
off.
What is it?
no, you'll know. Where's my tissues?
She's got
It
the
ain't
Bram
coming for a
Stoker
while.
hairdo.
It won't be in the
Dracula
first
hair
part
right there.
of this podcast. It'll be in the second part.
Okay.
And then look, there's the town whore still hanging out.
Well,
Yeah.
She is a friend.
She is a good friend.
She's an extra.
By the way,
There
they
she
just
is.
made a movie about her with Annette Bening. Annette Bening played Gloria Graham.
Oh, really?
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. Yeah, that's a good choice. Annette Bening.
Annette Bening is one of the great working
yeah,
actresses.
she's amazing. Yeah, that's a great choice.
I love her, man.
If either you two see a stranger around here, it's me.
See, yeah.
He's great.
Hey, look, there's
By the
somebody
way-
driving this cab.
John, I'm
The
sure
cop
you know
sent
this.
this over.
Dino, I'm sure you know
He
this.
said
Greg,
the photo
Yeah.
in the Happy Land
the cab driver
Yeah.
Look at this.
is Ernie,
By the way,
and the cop
you two going on this
is
here
Bert.
honeymoon?
Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie.
That's
That's where it came from.
Yep.
Kitty, Ernie. Here, come on, count it, Mary.
Because somebody
Look.
You know what we're gonna
at
do?
Henson
We're gonna shoot
Productions
the works the whole weekend,
had
New
good
York,
goddamn
the whole
taste.
weekend.
Yeah.
The highest hotels,
Well,
the
Jim
oldest
Henson's one of his favorite
champagne,
movies, I
the
think.
richest
It must have
caviar,
been.
The hottest music and the prettiest wife.
Well, that does it.
Row.
Then what, honey?
This is like
After that, who cares?
Dom scene in the Big
The
Lebowski.
Big Lebowski.
I always thought about this honeymoon that they were going to go on.
Yeah.
Would that if obviously they don't,
Yeah.
but would that have curbed it for him? Would that have curbed his wanderlust
Maybe.
a little bit?
Yeah, to have seen one other part of the
Yeah,
world,
yeah, something.
one other thing.
Would that have done it? Would that have
Yes. I
soothed
don't know.
it, or would
That's
that
a
have just
great- that's
pissed
a
him
great
off
que-
more?
That's a great question. It's a great. It depends on where their honeymoon was.
Because they were going to do it up. They had
I mean,
$2,000.
if they're going to Cincinnati, probably not.
you find out they got $2,000.
Yeah.
$2,000 back then.
Where could you go?
Oh,
on
where
$2,000?
couldn't you go on $2,000?
Steubenville. They're going to Steubenville. I think.
Everywhere.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they were going to do it up.
Where,
So would that
do
have?
we know? Do we know where they were going to go?
They were talking about it in the,
Well, I think that's important to know.
I think they were going overseas somewhere. I think they're going to Europe or something.
So what's
I don't know. I'm just
I'm
speculating.
gonna find out what's happening right now. Correct.
So apparently, I mean, we're seeing like the Great Depression striking here, right?
Correct.
We're coming on the
Yes.
Great Depression, the run on the banks, and we're also getting
fucking
very
bird.
close to wrapping up part 1 of It's a Wonderful Podcast. For those of you who are listening,
Still.
We will take a little break.
All 5 of you.
We will take a little break and come back and do part 2, all here in one sitting, but you'll have to wait another week for part 2.
So everybody wants their money out. Is that the deal? here?
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
wants their cash, man. There's a
Oh
run
my
on
God.
the banks.
And there's another tearjerker scene.
And you're about to see a cameo of Grandma Walton from the Waltons.
That's right.
Is in this film.
I love his coat. Look at that coat. It's awesome.
I love his hat.
Holy mackerel. A phrase I
Still use?
still use.
Holy mackerel? It's a
Yeah.
good one.
Holy mackerel. Holy mackerel, I'm married.
Is that in place of shit or fuck?
I still use shit and fuck,
Okay.
without any.
Question or pause.
Yeah.
Look at that place. Look at Potter's place.
Oh, well, I'm very glad to hear that.
Very Trumpian.
I say there's so much a lot of fabric in that room.
Please, what for?
Well, mobs get pretty ugly sometimes, you know.
He's sniffing, isn't he? He's like a fucking bloodhound. He's fucking sniffing.
Crisis.
Look at him.
I have just guaranteed the bank sufficient funds to meet their needs. They will close up for a week and then reopen.
Just took
Man.
over the bank.
Lionel Barrymore.
I may lose a fortune, but I am willing to
Drew's great-grandfather, correct?
Yeah, believe
just
so.
tell them to bring their shares over here. and
There was
I will
Lionel,
pay 50
John,
on the dollar.
Ethel,
Here's great.
And Drew.
and Drew.
That's right.
Yeah, so you see the dip. That reminds me of that joke we told when we did the layers of Steubenville fame.
Yeah.
Right. There's Dean Martin. There's Dean Martin.
Dean Martin.
Then there's Jimmy the Greek. Then you.
And
then-
me?
Oh wait, no.
It's Tracy Lords.
Tracy Lords.
Tracy Lords.
Then you.
Then me.
Then me. There's a whoa.
There's a big woo.
It's like the Grinch's sleigh ride.
This thing isn't as black as it appears.
I
There's
love
a
I
couple
love
other
the
people
siren.
from-
I love the siren.
From Steubenville that,
a little
that don't
fear-mongering.
get their due.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah?
is intense.
Yeah, there's
I have
a
some news for you, folks. I was just talking to old man
There's a
Potter, and
famous,
guaranteed cash payments to the bank. The bank's
sheriff
gonna reopen
from
next
Steubenville
But George,
who
I got my money
cracked the
here.
Bundy
They
case.
guarantee this place.
Last name Katsaris.
Charlie, I didn't even
Really?
ask him. We
Yep.
don't need
I
to plot
played
over
soccer
here.
with his kid.
In an upcoming film that's going to be debuting at Sundance with
You're thinking of this place all
know
wrong.
that.
You got the money
Kevin
back on the
McClatchy
safe.
plays Sheriff Katsaris in this film.
Oh, crazy.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding?
Yeah, he's from-
Kevin is great.
Kevin,
good.
and he's from Steubenville.
Awesome.
Also, there's a playwright and a screenwriter.
I got $240
There's a play
in
that'll
here.
be debuting at
$242
Catco
going to break anybody.
next June, I believe. Holmes and Watson. The playwright is from Steubenville,
Okay.
and he also wrote the screenplay for Mr. Holmes, the movie with Ian McKellen.
Okay. Who is this guy?
His name escapes me at the moment.
Oh, that would explain why you hadn't said it. yet.
Hansberry, look up Mr.
What am I
Holmes.
looking up?
Look up Mr. Holmes and the screenwriter, but he's from Steubenville.
Stay away
Okay.
from Johnny Holmes.
Great ad-libbed moment coming up here.
There's a lot of people from Steubenville. Wild Cherry, come on,
Wow, Wild Cherry. Remember we sang that song? At
play
our-
that funky music, white
Yeah.
boy.
We sang that together.
Bobby Parisi, yes, we did.
Potter gets a hold of this building and alone,
Yeah,
there'll never
that's
be
it.
another
He's a
decent house
screenwriter.
built in this town. He's already got charge of the bank. He's got the bus line.
Mitch
he's got the
Colon?
department
No,
stores,
not
he's
Mitch
got-
Colon.
It says
Why?
writers.
Well, it's
No,
very simple, because
screenwriter.
we're putting in
Hold on.
his business, that's
Look up
why.
people from
Because
Steubenville with the
he
name
wants to keep
Semicolon.
living in his slums
That
and
could
paying the kind of rent he
shed some
deserves.
light on it.
Joe, you had one of those Potter houses, didn't you? Well, have you forgotten? Have you forgotten what he charged you for that broken down shack?
That's right,
Sure, yeah.
Jimmy.
You know, you remember
tell
last
him,
year
man.
when things
Score
weren't
these
going
guys
so
up.
well, you couldn't make
Now,
your
a scene
payments?
like this
Well, you didn't
doesn't
lose your
work
house, did you? You
if
think
the
Potter
extras
was-
Jeffrey
aren't-
Hatcher?
Yes, Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Hatcher.
Hatcher.
Jeffrey Hatcher.
Jeffrey Hatcher from Steubenville.
Okay, I didn't know that.
He considered Pittsburgh
Potter's
his
and
Paris.
selling, Potter's buying. And
Didn't
why?
we all?
Because we're
Yeah,
panicky.
right?
No, that's why.
Seriously.
And he's a huge.
You would drive to Pittsburgh. You had to drive through this tunnel.
We've got to
right,
stick
to get
together,
to
though.
Pittsburgh.
We've got to have faith in each other.
Yeah, you're in the shithole, Steel Town. You have to drive through Weirton at that point. You had to drive through Weirton.
Right.
You had to pass all sorts of like
There she
detritus.
goes, Mary.
Yeah.
Tony
Save the day.
Go ahead,
Mary,
Vince, I'm sorry.
see, Mary is great.
Mary's great there, yeah.
Mary
She's
says
gonna
do
sacrifice their honeymoon money for this.
That's true.
So you had to drive through Weirton.
Yeah.
shithole
Can we
steel
stop
tongue.
for 1 second?
Yeah.
Those of you who are watching the movie, Tom, who wanted his $242, John and I agreed earlier. Tom's a dick.
He's a
Yeah,
fucking
Tom
asshole.
is a dick.
Tom's a dick.
Yeah.
He wants all of his money.
I think it's Mrs. Thompson who's a sweetheart.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Let's see.
Let's see. But
Anyway,
but
driving to Pittsburgh, Greg, you had to go through this tunnel.
Yeah.
And when you came out of the tunnel,
Pops
which I used
out
to
in
try to hold my
Pittsburgh.
breath.
Oh yeah, it's good luck if you hold your breath through a tunnel. Yeah.
Oh my God, you popped out of that tunnel. It was like you're getting punched in the face with awesomeness.
Yeah.
Grandma Walton.
Here it is.
1750.
Ad
She
lib.
wants
That kiss.
1750.
That kiss he gives her, ad libbed.
Jimmy Stewart in the moment again.
God
And she
damn.
kinda smiles
Was
a
he?
little bit.
I mean, who's
is
a
Grandma
better
Walton.
actor?
No, Jimmy Stewart's one of the greatest actors of
No,
all time.
no, I know you say one. Who is a better actor than Jimmy Stewart?
As I'm watching this movie, nobody.
No.
So he gave his
You know
own
what?
money to do all this.
You talking
Say
about
De Niro?
contemporary or
Say
back
De
then?
Niro?
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you something.
De Niro couldn't do this.
I'm a huge De Niro fan.
De Niro could not
De
do
Niro is
this.
Looking at pouring out the
capable-
shots.
De
of
Niro
liquor.
could not do this.
I'm not saying is he better. Could De Niro do this? Who is a better actor, Jimmy Stewart,
Jimmy Stewart.
or whatever?
Jimmy
De Niro could not do this movie.
No.
correct?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. And by the way, Jimmy Stewart played some hard asses too.
Yeah, he did. He played some bad guys.
So, far and away, Jimmy Stewart is the better actor.
They put the $2 back in the
I'm
vault.
not picking him over them. I'm just
No,
saying.
I'm just
that,
no.
yeah.
I'm glad you said it because I'm a huge De Niro fan, and I can, without reservation, say that Jimmy Stewart is like light years ahead of that guy.
I think the characters that Jimmy Stewart had were far more diverse than anything
True,
that
right?
De Niro ever
True,
did.
right. And when
I'll
De
give you
Niro
that.
tries, and when De Niro, but see, here's the thing. You could probably. Well, I don't know. This is interesting.
All right, we're getting ready to wrap up part one here, kids.
I'll pick up the De Niro versus.
Come home. What home? 320 Sycamore. Well,
There's a great line coming up.
Whose home's that? The Waldorf Hotel.
Look at his eyes. Good Lord.
And we pause. All right, this is going to wrap up part one. Jimmy Stewart is going to his
Home.
The home he doesn't know is a home yet.
Does not know is a home yet. Let's finish off that conversation real quick about De Niro and Stewart before we take
Yeah.
a break. Go ahead. So you were saying.
So they're both distinct, right, in their personas and their and like you can hear Jimmy Stewart's Midwestern sort of like drawl, right? And De Niro is sort of limited by his New York kind of provenance. So they are limited in the roles that they can take, right? Like you can't cast Jimmy Stewart as an 18th century count, right? Nor can you
I'd
cast
watch that movie.
Well, I
though.
would watch the movie.
right? But nor could you do it with De Niro either. Having said that, looking at their careers, and let's face it, De Niro's at the end of his, and there were at a third. There was a good 25 years of shit.
After
that
the
guy
third
put
Meet
up.
the Fockers or whatever.
I still love him. Don't get me
No,
wrong.
me too.
But there's another moment coming up. I John and I agree to the train station scene is one of the great screen acting moments
Which I
of
will
all
never
time.
look at the same again now. Thanks
Yeah,
to both
thank
of
you,
There's
guys.
another
It's fun.
moment coming up in part 2 that I believe may be the single greatest moment of screen acting.
Really?
Yes. And I as big a De Niro fan as I am, I can't believe he's capable of what we're gonna see. I find it hard to believe that most human beings are capable of what we're gonna see in terms of taking a craft to its apotheosis.
Well, on that note,
Wow.
ladies and gentlemen, that concludes part one of it.
I don't even know if I use that word right.
I don't know.
I
It
don't
sounded
know
like
either.
You did to me, but
Look it up.
You know that we're gonna wrap up part one of It's a Wonderful Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this part of it. We hope you've enjoyed it enough to want to listen to part two, which will be available to you a week from
Well,
now.
the hell of a tease, possibly the greatest single acting moment on film,
Yeah.
and the move and the scene that makes Dino cry. So we got that.
We got
both
that.
of
I
those
wonder
coming
if
up in
they
part
line
2.
up. I wonder if they line up.
I
that's
don't
a
think they
tease.
do. I think
a hell of
the
a
movie,
tease for
the
part
moment
2.
that makes me cry, and the single No, I bet you they don't.
It's interesting. I can't wait.
I'll be very
also, can I
surprised
ask
if
one
it-
question before
Sure,
we go
man,
into
yeah.
part two?
Before we
Will
take a
there-
break?
Will there be
Can we
more
pee?
whiskey?
There's
Oh,
more
yeah.
whiskey.
Same
I
bottle.
purposely got 2 bottles.
You know
of
what I
Old
think you
Overholt.
did? I think you knew I was going to sit here for 2.5 hours.
Well, no,
You
no, no,
picked-
no.
You trapped Johnny.
No, I did the
And
math.
you picked it. Yeah,
There's-
right. That's what I'm saying. You did the math.
I did the
You're
math.
like, this guy's coming over here for 2.5 hours.
No.
I better give him like something that's $14.99.
There's 16.
We're going lowball on 'em.
$16.99, and there's 6 people here. There's Greg, there's John, and there's me and you.
That's it.
Close one eye.
I'm 1.5. I am 1.5, Dino.
Until the next bottle, which will be the same bottle. We'll see you.